Good evening. Hi. Well, I'm in a good mood because tonight was D&D night. That's what I call my fists. No, Dungeons and Dragons night. And it's been a long time since we got to play, weeks even. We started a game last year in, I want to say September, and we had a pretty good pattern going of playing every 2 weeks, sometimes every week, depending on whose schedule was available. And then we ran smack into the holiday season where suddenly most of the group was out of the country on vacation. So we had a long dry spell, and I was feeling kind of bummed. But we're back tonight, yeah. And we hardly got anything done because circumstances. There was just too much stuff going on, and so we barely got anything done. And one person who missed out last month had to do all the leveling up stuff, and just anyway, it was really great to play again because for me personally, I played Dungeons and Dragons when I was like 12, okay, in the 1980s. Do the math. And because we were all playing and we were all 12, it took no time at all for us all to become like crazy, ridiculously overpowered. Like all our swords were like plus 15, and we were we would find treasure troves of like million gold coins, which is like, oh, that's one experience point each, so you now have a million experience points. Like we went hog wild. We couldn't stop ourselves from giving each other gigantic gifts. We'd all take turns DMing, so we'd all give each other grandiose gifts, and it was ridiculous. I think, gosh, I want to say I had a fighter and I called him like Stonewall or something. God, I had like a huge book of all Stonewall's stuff. It was ridiculous. Anyway, then we tried to play advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So we were in middle school now, so like we can't play the baby Dungeons and Dragons. We got to play advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And guess what? It was boring and confusing, and I hated it, and we just gave up. Just gave it up. Also, probably a factor, video game RPGs got really cool in the late 80s, early 90s. So suddenly we were really into like video games, like way more into video games. But anyway, jump ahead 30 years later, and suddenly some friends on Facebook were like, hey, who wants to play Dungeons and Dragons? We can get together, have a casual game. And I was like, maybe I could play. And it was almost geographically motivated more than anything else, because the DM who's hosting the game and her husband, they live literally one stop away from where I work. So it's like, why not just take one train after work and just hang out with some people? And that's really the big thing. I mean, the game is fun. I don't want to poo-poo the game. The game is fun. I really got into it. I wrote a whole thing about my character, and I wrote a whole backstory for my character, and I really kind of fell in love with my character. But it's just been really nice to have a semi-monthly, sometimes weekly adult gathering. I mean, when we started this, I didn't know, like, I straight up didn't know two people at the party. I just didn't know them. This was my first time I met them. And now it's like, it's really fun to hang out with them and just talk to them about stuff. And we probably goof off more than we should, and we always want to tell an anecdote. And of course, tonight, when someone was pulling a staff out of a tiny little bag of holding or whatever, I had to interrupt everything and talk about how that episode of Doctor Who, when the Doctor got trapped inside the TARDIS, inside a really tiny TARDIS, and Clara put the TARDIS in her purse, and then he passed like a hammer to her, like a big sledgehammer to her, and it came out of her purse in front of people, and they're like, what the hell is in your purse? And she's like, don't worry about it. So anyway, just like now, I got sidetracked telling a story. But that's fun. It's fun just to have this game and tell stories. And I mean, the role playing is neat, and rolling the dice is fun. I mean, everything about it is so much fun. And the DM makes guacamole, and it's really delicious. Anyway, maybe they're all watching this right now, and I really appreciate them spending time with me every week. Just like I appreciate you, viewers. You watch me doing this thing 5 days, 5 minutes a day, every day. It's going good. And I'm off for the next 2 days. I feel like it's going to be a good weekend. Fingers crossed it's going to be a good weekend. I've got some plans. I hope they happen. Anyway, 5 minutes. So, good night. See you tomorrow. I love you.